My lawyer called it death by paperwork. I called it war. 3 years ago, I bought a small plot in Oak Ridge, a quiet suburb where the biggest scandal was a misplaced recycling bin. My dream was simple: a garden, a porch, a place to breathe. Then Karen, the HOA president, rolled in like a tank in heels, her smile sharper than her clipboard. She didn't just want my land, she wanted to erase me from the neighborhood. Her plan? A community expansion that conveniently required my property to be bulldozed for a parking lot. The kicker: she'd forged documents claiming my deed was invalid. Karen wasn't subtle. She'd show up at my doorstep with her posse, citing fake violations. My roses were too red, my mailbox non-compliant. Neighbors whispered she'd done this before, strong-arming a widow out of her home for a tennis court nobody used. I tried reasoning, but Karen laughed, her eyes glinting like she'd already won. When I refused to sell, the harassment escalated. My fence was vandalized. My water line mysteriously broke. Then, one morning, I woke to a bulldozer idling in my yard, tearing up my garden. Petals and dirt flew as Karen stood there, smug, barking orders. I snapped. This wasn't just my land, it was my fight. I grabbed my phone, live streaming the destruction to the neighborhood's private group. "This is what your HOA does," I shouted, voice cracking. The video went viral. Neighbors poured out, some filming, others yelling. Karen's composure cracked as she screamed about legal rights. But the crowd wasn't hers anymore. A retired lawyer neighbor, Mr. Jenkins, stepped forward, promising to dig into her shady deals. The bulldozer driver, seeing the chaos, shut off the engine and walked away. That night, I didn't sleep. I pored over every HOA rule, every contract, every email Karen had sent. I found her Achilles heel. She'd been skimming HOA funds to pay for her projects. With Mr. Jenkins' help, I compiled a dossier: bank statements, forged signatures, emails where she bragged about handling me. We called an emergency HOA meeting, the first in years without Karen's iron grip. I stood before 50 neighbors, heart pounding, and laid it all bare. "She's not just stealing my land," I said, holding up the evidence. "She's stealing from us all." Gasps rippled through the room. Karen, cornered, tried to spin it, called me a liar, a troublemaker. But the numbers didn't lie. Neighbors who'd stayed silent now spoke up. Mrs. Lopez revealed Karen had bullied her into paying fake fines. Mr. Patel said his business license was denied after he questioned her. The room turned into a tribunal. By the end, Karen's board was voted out, her presidency stripped. She stormed off, vowing lawsuits, but the crowd's cheers drowned her out. I thought I'd won. My land was safe, my garden replanted. The new HOA board, led by Mr. Jenkins, rewrote the bylaws to prevent another Karen. Neighbors brought me cuttings, apologizing for their silence. For a moment, Oak Ridge felt like home again. But victory came at a cost. The fight drained my savings: legal fees, repairs, sleepless nights. Worse, the neighborhood wasn't the same. Trust was fractured. People eyed each other warily, wondering who'd sided with Karen. I'd saved my land, but the dream of a quiet life was gone. Last week, I saw Karen's house for sale. Rumor is she's moving to another state, probably to terrorize a new suburb. As I watched the sign go up, I felt no joy, just a hollow ache. I'd fought back, made the HOA flee, but at what price? My garden blooms again, but every petal reminds me of the war. Sometimes I wonder if I should have just sold out. Then I step onto my porch, feel the earth under my feet, and know I couldn't have. This land is mine, not just dirt, but defiance.